If you're starting or running a Turo business in 2023, there are two potential mistakes you could make that will ruin your business. If you do either of these two things, you could get your cars repossessed or even go bankrupt. In this video, I'm going to tell you the two mistakes you're most likely to make on Turo in 2023. And at the end, I'll show you a simple formula you need to follow to prevent this from happening. Now, this is really near and dear to my heart because I see a lot of posts go through this, which is why I'm making this video so that you don't have to experience this. Mistake number one. Buying overpriced cars. Buying overpriced cars will literally kill any chances you have at having a successful Turo business. And I cannot emphasize this enough because there's no way to have profitable cars on Turo if you overpaid for the car. It is literally going to eat away at all of your margins. The problem is that most people are making this mistake without even knowing it because of the massive increase in prices in the automotive industry. Since 2019, the average price of a new car in the US has risen by 30% to $50,000. And according to statistics cited by Bloomberg News, in order to lease a new car, it would cost you $777 a month. That is almost double what it was in 2019. So you guys can see by these numbers just the sheer size of the increases in car prices. Most people do not have an understanding of what normal prices should be. So let me show you exactly what normal looks like and what we should be looking for today. So we're going to take a look at the CarGurus price trend graphs to understand what's happened to car prices so that we can make an informed decision on what the best purchase price is for a car that you're gonna post on Turo. Okay friends, so I want you guys to follow along with me because we're gonna look at what normal car prices used to be and what they are today and exactly what we're looking for. I'm literally gonna show you a real life example of a car that I'm searching for and how I figured out whether or not it's a good price to buy at that makes sense for Turo. So here I am on cargurus.com. They have something amazing that they put together called a used car price trends graph. And they literally track the prices for many years for every make and model so that you can see the trend of what has happened. Now you'll see here in the calendar feature that I have January 1st of 2019 selected because that was kind of like the last normal year that we have. And then the end date is for present day here in 2023. And you can literally see the graph, how it has sort of gone from 2019, oops, looks like it's showing us for 2022. Whoops, let's go ahead and make sure we hit update so that we can see an accurate depiction. Let me deselect this. Let's see here. All right, okay, now we're talking, okay? So that didn't look quite right. So now in January 2019, you can literally see for Ford, Chevrolet, Jeep, Toyota. Now CarGurus will give you an entire list of manufacturers and models that you can select from. So we just have some basic ones selected. You can see from 2019 all the way through 2022 and 2023 just how much prices have climbed. So if we kind of look at present day right here, we can see that prices for Ford have risen by 49.4%. Now, if we look at just the index, which is our purple line right here, the overall used car price category has risen by 34.1% as of today, right? And that is a huge number. That is a massive price increase. Whereas back in 2019, prices were around $21,743 on average per car, and now in present day, they have gone all the way up to $29,000, just a little bit above that. So it makes it really difficult to justify buying some of these cars for Turo. Reason being because car rental day rates do not increase the same amount as car prices have. So just because car prices have gone up by 30, 40, 50%, day rates have not been equivalent on Turo. And that is why buying cars that are overpriced is such a major mistake, because car prices, day rates will not reflect in the same way that car prices have. So as we look at this chart, we can see just what a dramatic change it has been in 2019. Now, a lot of of people have asked me, hey Saima, how come, you haven't bought any new cars in the last year, year and a half? This is the first time in almost 8 years that a year and a half has gone by and I have not purchased a single car. The answer is right here. This is why, because it doesn't make sense unless you can find a killer good deal on a car. Now, I've been going on and on about how the next car I want to get is a Tesla. And I'm super excited because let me show you guys what has happened to Tesla prices. Finally, this is what I've been waiting for. So I have Tesla selected right here. Check this out. In 2019, the average price of a Tesla was $55,600. Okay, and then prices really climbed. We can see right here in 2022, they went all the way up to $67,758, right? That is a huge increase. Now, last summer, I posted a video about how I put down a deposit on a Tesla Model S used, which was $72,000. $72,000 was the best deal that I had seen on a used Tesla Model S in over a year. That was at the top of the market. But then, thankfully, a lot of news came out about how car prices were going to begin to fall because interest rates were increasing. So I ended up canceling my order and I lost my deposit, but I'm so glad that I did, because if we come down to present day, we can see that prices for a used Tesla are now negative 16.1% in comparison to what they were in 2019. So now, as of present day, the average price of a used Tesla is $46,667. In 2019, it was $55,605. So it is actually cheaper to buy a Tesla today than it was in 2019. This is massive news. I cannot emphasize this enough and how important this is. This is why patience is so important. You have to really wait it out until you get a good deal on a car that you are looking to post on Turo. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, prices are so inflated. How do you find a good deal? Well, this is exactly how. You need to really track the cars that you are looking for until you find that the car prices are coming down. They are normalizing, they are equalizing. Now, we can see just by looking at all of these cars that as of, this year, prices have really started to kind of take a little bit of a dip, right? So the market has been really unsteady in that prices have come down, they've gone up, but overall, generally speaking, they have slowly started to come down. And it might take us a while till we see a full correction when it comes to car prices, and probably whatever the new normal is might be higher than what we saw in 2019, but not quite as high as what we see the car prices at back in the summer of 22 and also today. So what you need to do is you need to go on CarGurus price trend graph, and you need to go and take a look at some of the cars that you might be interested in so that you can really understand what the price trend is. Now, I'm showing you right here, if for example, you're interested in a BMW 3 Series, right? Let's take a look at what the prices have done in the last couple years. So I'm just gonna toggle real quick all the way back to 2019 for a little normalcy to today. And now we're looking just specifically within BMW. So again, this is gonna give you very specific information about a particular car that you're looking for, where prices were, where they are today, and what direction they are headed in. So now you can see here for let's look at a 3 Series BMW, which is this bottom line. The average price of a used 3 Series BMW, which seems sort of unbelievable, in 2019 was $16,717, and today it is up by about 34.3% to $22,445. So you can see where the increase is. Now, it has come down by about 10% since the peak of the summer of 2022, as you can see right here. Summer of 2022, BMW 3 Series prices were up by 43.4%, and today they have come down to 34.3%. So that is a 10% drop that we are seeing on these BMW 3 Series prices. So the question then becomes, can you wait it out a little bit longer until you find a great deal? Can you find a seller who is really willing to take a great price from you as a host on that car. So it's not that these deals don't exist, but these days it is just much harder to find them because you have to do a lot of research. You have to find somebody who has a car that they purchased, let's say in 2019 or 2020, right? Where they got a good deal on it so that they're willing to give you a good deal on it. Basically, it takes a lot of research, but the thing that you don't want to do is buy a car that is overpriced. And now I'm going to tell you guys. So right here, right, I'm going to share a real life example with you guys for a host that I actually know. So let's just go back, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So I know a host who in 2021 and 2022 acquired a bunch of cars for Turo. And he specifically purchased Corvettes for Turo. So we're just gonna go ahead and select that. Now, hopefully CarGurus will give me not the new Corvettes, but let's take a look here. So I'm just going to deselect some of these other cars under Chevrolet, and we have Corvette selected. Now here we are, we're going to come up here. I'm going to toggle my calendar way back to 2019. And it's crazy what you'll see happen to the prices. And again, you want to do this for your car, so we're going to update this chart. Okay, our black line here on top, this is Corvette prices. So back in 2021, I believe it was, he bought a Corvette C7, a 2016 model that had, I think, about 40,000 miles on it. At that time, I had my 2019 C7, which I had just acquired. I made a video about that. And he had paid almost double what I paid for mine. Mine was newer, less miles. And it was really sad because his car payment was almost triple what mine was. And I just knew that there's no way when you buy a car that is priced that high for Turo that you can even break even or even turn a profit. And that's why it is so expensive. So he bought right around here, right? Where prices were almost 45 to 50% higher than what they were in 2019. And it just absolutely crushed his business. It was a business that was not sustainable, and he fell into that trap of buying an overpriced car and realizing that, hey, just because I bought an overpriced car, it doesn't mean that this car is going to get a higher day rate in a way that is comparable to the price that he paid for the car on the market. So that's why it is so important that you make sure that you use a tool like this to do your homework. Otherwise, you can really get yourself into some trouble. Okay, so let's sum that up real quick. Cost of a car determines your monthly payment. If the cost of your car is high, then your monthly payment will be high. Every car on Turo has a maximum day rate that it can earn, and there are a limited number of days in a month that your car can be rented out for. So just because your car payment is high does not mean that the renter is willing to pay a higher day rate to rent it. So if you can't earn enough money to cover your payment and make it worth your time, then you'll fail at this business. And this is happening to a lot of people. This is where using the formula that I'll show you in just a minute is going to save you from making this mistake. And in the meantime, if you want to really learn on how to actually purchase a car well, you can check out my free car buying guide at powerhost.club. Mistake number 2, not doing enough Turo market research and choosing the wrong car to list on Turo, which ends up failing. I find that when people are starting out on Turo, they're super excited, and oftentimes they're just going to make an impulse decision to buy a car that they like and then go ahead and list it on Turo. The problem with this is that if you're looking to be on Turo and actually run it as a profitable business, then you have to buy a car that is optimal for your market and that will give you the most profit margin. Every market is so different, and the two things that will help you determine the type of car that you want to list is based on your geography and the activities that people indulge in. So I really believe that you need to do at least 90 days of market research to get a good idea of what will work in your area. This means that you need to track listings in your area that are performing well. You need to monitor how often they're being booked and at what price points. And you're going to take note of all of this so that you can really make a powerful decision based on data. Now, conducting market research takes a lot of patience, but it is so important because it's going to help you make the right decision on which car will perform well. Other than tracking listings in your area, you should try to connect with other hosts in your areas because they have that real world inside intel from actually hosting cars. And you can totally do this by renting one of their cars, meeting them in person. Turo hosts are extremely friendly and forthcoming when it comes to sharing information. And alternatively, you can join Facebook groups where you can connect with other hosts as well. Now, everything that I'm referring to, I am going to put links down in the description below so that you can learn more about it. And if you want to do more in-depth market research and figure out really the ins and outs of collecting that data, you can check out powerhost.club, and I have a full training on exactly how to do this. And finally, the thing that we've been waiting for is that there is one formula that I have used over the years to make sure that I don't fall into these pitfalls and I keep myself safe and make the best business decision. Utilizing this formula will keep you from experiencing some of these terrible outcomes. So let's take a look at it. All right, so I refer to this as my Turo profitability formula. And this is really important. I utilize it every single time that I'm thinking about buying a car. So there are two things that we want to figure out. We want to know what your potential rental income can be from a particular car, and then what your cost of doing business is. Both of these things are really going to help us determine what the profitability on a vehicle is going to be, which is going to help you make that buying decision. So first off, you're going to figure out what's the average day rate that the car that you're interested in is getting on the market, and that you're going to find from your market research, times your host cut. Meaning what percentage of that day rate are you going to get, which is determined on your host protection plan that you choose through Turo. Then you're going to multiply that by the number of days that it's being rented on average. Again, all of this information you're going to find through doing your market research. Now, when you multiply those two factors together, that's what is going to give you what we call your rental income. Next, we want to figure out, well, what's your car payment going to look like and your cost of insurance. Those two things added together is going to roughly give you your cost of doing business rather, I should say. And of course, that doesn't include things like car washes and stuff, but you can pad in a little bit more of an expense for those things. But this is going to give you probably 90% of your cost of doing business is your car payment and your insurance. Now, once you figure out your rental income and your cost of doing business, you're going to just plop those numbers into this formula. Rental income minus cost of doing business is going to give you your profit margin. That is going to really tell you at the end of the day, how much money do you get to reserve and take home as your profit? And that is the end game of being a Turo host, right? We get cars so that they are profitable and so that we can make money. And that's why we utilize this formula. I promise you, if you use this formula, you will not fall into the pitfall of overpaying for cars, not being able to anticipate how much money that car is going to make you. This is going to keep you really safe when you go into doing the business. So you want to make sure that you watch the price trends for your car market so you can get into a vehicle at a reasonable price where you can still turn a strong profit. And second, be sure to conduct market research so you can make an informed decision about what car is going to work best in your market. Check out this video I made where I do a full walkthrough with real life examples of how to use the Turo formula for profitable cars.